Hey fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to Eagles Talk. Upon further review, where we go over the Eagles' previous game from the previous week, and I am still riding a high off of Monday's night performance. What a game! What a game! What a game! It just showed us just how good this team can be, and I talked about it post game as dominating a performance as that was. We left a lot of meat on the bone. We haven't even reached our full potential, and we unleashed the fury of hell upon them. Oh my goodness, it was incredible, man. I'm still riding that high. And let me just start off this show right now. I couldn't sleep. I'm not shaving my hair's not because I just been rolling around and I just been regretting the fact that I went on radio and I picked against my team. That will never, ever happen again. I just beg you people for forgiveness. Please forgive me. I will never. I have to tell. I might not even be on the radio anymore because they're gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? Every week, we're gonna win. And what's the score, Doc? Us with more points than them. That's the score. All right. So, look, man, I'm still riding that. And I know you guys have to be excited as well. I mean, in one game, in 2 weeks, we are the number 3 team, ranked team in the NFL. And I think it's deserving. If you look at what we did and you look at the other teams in the NFC East, I know it's very, very early in the season. But if you look at them, dude, we have a nice squad. We always talked about our roster and the such, and it showed on Monday night. But without further ado, let's get this quarter started. You're watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us, fans, for us, fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, our winning football team, our undefeated football team, in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So let's get this party started because we're still celebrating. You know, the game is Sunday, and we'll get to that, but we're still celebrating what happened Monday night. It's a short week. So I'm doing the Belvedere vodka, and Pat, what are you doing?
Doing a fresh bottle of Jameson because we finished that last game.
All right, so he's doing a fresh bottle of Jameson, and our Nichelle. Let's send prayers out to Nichelle. She has caught
I'm
the
getting over
COVID bug.
COVID.
She's getting
So
over
I'm making
COVID
I
bug.
have a hot toddy.
So she has a hot toddy, but she's not doing shots. She's doing sips. All right, so here we go. Everybody raise your glass and let me know what you're doing out there. And please, whatever you do, please drink responsibly. All right, so here we go. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the first quarter.
All right, so before I even start
It got
anything,
me, Chris. It got me.
it got her. Before we start anything, this season, eerily, I mean,
Oh,
it
come
reminds
on.
me
Wait
a little bit
minute.
of
Wait
the
a
best.
minute.
I'm not. Look, listen. Let me do my segue here. Okay. It reminds me a lot of the best football year of my life, and as I recall that year, I remember what made it so special, and a big part of what made that so special is that we were early. We were only in our second year, and it was the year that we decided to do live appearances. So a friend of mine told me about a tailgate group called Project Tailgate. He put me in touch with his man Will King, West Philly Will,
Temple.
and
Okay.
yeah, and I call him up.
They my peoples.
And I told him we're a new podcast and we like to broadcast live from your tailgate. I thought it would be a great backdrop to have a Eagles podcast and to be at a tailgate. And he said, sure, come on down. And they embraced us with open arms. Definitely. And the atmosphere was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'm talking about big screen TVs, 2 big screen TVs, grills going, a DJ. They had their own DJ. And It was just everybody just bring your only price of admission was bring something to contribute to the tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was how many people would you say, Pat? It'd be like 100 people out there.
It was packed. Shout out to DJ Blends, but
Yeah.
Philly Will. Listen, it was packed. Like it was.
Yes.
It was
He's
a good
been doing
time.
it for a minute. No,
It
he's
was
been doing
a
it
good
for a
time.
minute.
And if you guys don't know about it, if you're on Facebook, if they have a
Shame
group
on
called
ya.
the Project Tailgate, go to the group, join the group.
PTG.
PTG group, yo. And I just want to give a shout out to them because they believed in us early when nobody knew about us. I mean, even the DJ would be on there and said, bragging about their tailgate. Who has a tailgate with their own podcast? We got our own podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to give them a special shout out, man. We appreciate it, the support early, and it'll always be a fond memory of ours because it was the best football year of our lives.
Man,
Yo,
Don, that New York Giants game.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness,
We were out there for that.
and we recorded that live.
Yeah, because I went on air because I thought it was over. I was like, you know what I mean? So we started the post-game show and 2 completions, and then he's hitting the longest field goal I've ever seen. But that turned the season around. You know what I mean? That turned the season around. Yo, it was bananas. So I just wanted to give those guys a shout out. They changed the tailgating rules down. They changed the tailgating rules so they don't do the same setup as they used to. I reached out to them today. They said they were going to have a tailgate coming up, so I'll keep you guys posted. Anyway, getting to this game, guys. Let me know what was going through your mind. What did you guys see? I mean, let me know. I didn't have you guys on post game, so I don't know what your reaction was.
You went on post game at midnight.
I know. I couldn't get it.
I was the only one in, and
Yes,
everybody's like,
you
I
were.
can't get in. Then you was like, well, I'm not going on. And then next thing I know, I get an alert. I'm like, I'm in bed.
Yeah. I got like 5 minutes later, it started working. The curse lifted, and my computer started working. I was like, oh. And I could not go on. I was like, yo, this was too big a game. I just got to ride solo. So I did. But so since I didn't, I mean, you were. She's like, I said, you coming on? I'm in the bed. But she was in the chat room.
Comments. I was
like,
in the chat.
Yeah, she was in the chat room like she was on the show. I was like,
I was DJing, so I was.
Yeah, that's all I could give you at that point. I was like, I'm not getting out the bed, but I'll give you some words.
All right, so tell me, what was the reaction? Start with you, Nichelle. What did you see? I mean, how did you feel after that game?
I mean, I was excited, but I'm not going to say I was excited as some people are. I was excited that they lived up to my expectations. Like, this is the progression of the team I want to see. And I know they still left some things out on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides of the ball have mentioned that in a lot of their post-game interviews. Clearly, Jalen knows that they left a lot on the field on the second half for the offense. And we got some things we still need to clean up. So I'm taking a more measured approach along with the team of being, quietly confident in their abilities. But I want to keep it moving. I was super stoked we won, but I'm like, all right, on to the next. Like, who we got? What do we have to do now to get through this week? Because, like I said before, we can't fall into that trap of using last year's win-loss records for teams to predict who's going to be the winners of this year, because it's not that. We have Russell Wilson's. He's not in Seattle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's with the Broncos. We have Baker Mayfield. We have so much parity in the league right now. Detroit, they're one of the top scoring offenses in the league right now.
They are.
Yes,
So everything that happened last year is null and void. We have to take a more clean slate approach to this year. So I'm happy we got 2 dubs, but we still have work to do. I was excited we got the win. I expected us to get the win. I wish we had to put up more points. I really feel as though we should have put 40 on them, 44 on them, to be honest with you. However, I definitely think that we're on the right trajectory. And so I was super excited and happy we got the win, but I'm taking a more like methodical approach to it. Like, okay, I want to see us at week 6, 7, and 8, with this type of production. and cleaning up
and
stuff.
that's great. I talked about this before. We're the Eagles fan base. We're a team of ourselves. And
Yeah.
everybody plays a role, and that's Michelle's role. My
And
role
we
right
stuck
now
it to the
is to
Vikings,
go
though.
overboard. I'm going overboard. I'm not going to use the S word yet. I'm not taking that slow approach. We look great. I know there's ebbs and flows, but I'm on ride, and I'm not. I'll never use the S word. Never do that until we get closer. But anyway, I'm not going to use it in the second week. But we look
That's my
great, and that's my
quarterback.
role. My role
And
is
that's my quarterback.
Yes. Oh, and I'm gonna let Pat talk first, and then we'll go into the players. Go
So
ahead, Pat.
I saw a lot of comments that say consistent. Consistency is the key. Do you know what killed a lot of stuff that we were doing in the game? Penalties.
Talk
Yes.
about it.
Penalties.
Talk about it.
Penalties is the death of a great offense. You could put up 400 yards, but every 400 yards you have 11 penalties. You don't put points on the board.
That's
I
killing
understand
us.
that this second game is like the actual physical second preseason game for our first team offense and first team defense, but we needed to get it through here. That we had to be better when it comes to the mental aspect of the game.
The discipline.
Nick Sirianni talks about it, the smarts of a player, right? The smarts of a player has to deal with penalties, these false starts, these holdings, these tit-tat penalties that we were getting that we can, the legal man downfield penalty. Like, that's going to happen more.
We got
and more.
that 3 times.
It's going to happen for more and more with the RPO that we're using as a starting aspect of our offense. But let me not dawdle on Dante's parade because I see him over here smiling.
No. You playing your role. I'm playing my role. We're dominant. We're
My
dominant.
quarterback showed out, though.
Yes.
We are
Shut up
dominant.
all the haters,
But you
though.
know what?
We dominant.
He can't throw the ball.
What can round out this team is the consistency with not having penalties. Be consistent, not having these penalties. Be mental about the game and special teams. Listen, I like Britton Covey. Don't get me wrong. He catches the ball and he's confident catching the ball. But you know what? We need some more yards than 2.6.
We do. We got to give him, and plus they need to get his parking right. Boy had the park out in the tailgate. They didn't even give him a player's parking pass, and when he tried to get in, they wouldn't let him in. Like, we don't know you. You play for us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we need a big time.
Let me see your ID, son. Let me see your ID.
You get a big time return. You get a big time return.
He had to carry.
You got the big boy parking pass.
Right.
He
Right.
had to
He better
carry
earn that parking pass.
But
He
also
has
that
to
goes,
carry. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
that also has to go back onto the block field goal. We're talking about we should put up 40 points. 27 points have been sufficient. 24 points was great. 27 points look even better, right? But we're not blocking. We're not doing the fundamentals of football. We got to be fundamentally sound, right? When they tell you to block down and push out, block down and push out. Don't just block down and push. Be part of the actual special team so that the field goal is not blocked. We need more consistency with this team to be a better team than what we put forth on Monday. Now, don't get me wrong. What I saw out there the Dark Knight, what I saw out there in this shell, and after the shots I brought, I was lit. I had a great time. But after we review the tape and we look at the different faults, there is so much meat left on the bone.
Yes, there is.
It's scary once this team starts to actually put forth the effort, how good this team can really be.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface. That's what's scary to me. We really only scratched the surface of what this team could be. But go ahead, Dante. Take it away.
All right, so let me include our
first
co-host.
person in the room.
Yes, fourth co-host, and that's you guys out there in the room. Thank you guys for joining us, supporting us. We appreciate it greatly. And the first person in the room tonight is Benjamin. He says, I'm here now. Let's begin. You're right.
I'm here.
Second person
Let's
in the room
go.
is Richard Boo. Says, what's up, Eagles family? Our resident from down under, brother Tony Burren is in the house. Yo, Bird fan. What's up, Tony? How's it going? Sharif, what's up, good people? What's up, Sharif? Politero's back. Where you been at, Politero? You pop in. But when he does pop in, he has a lot to say. He always has a lot to say. All right, Benjamin, he says Washington Commandos about to catch a whooping. That's what I agreed to. I agreed with that. And I put this up there, but he did. I have to acknowledge Mason told y'all we were going to destroy the Vikings. Fly,
He
Eagles,
did.
fly, and he did. He no doubt he did. Fred is here too. Fred says, "Go Birds, go Birds." You're not lying. So, you guys, that's your role tonight. Y'all find the faults and all that. I'm going to just say we were incredible. I mean, for me, that first half, there was like we said, left a lot of meat on the bones, but there was still a lot of good things. And that all 22 that you sent me, Pat, the guy, I forget his name, but he's he broke down.
Oh, yeah. Baldy did
defensive
some
line.
good breakdowns, too.
Yeah, he broke down the defensive line was incredible, but I'll get to that. I just want to talk about, I want to put these two names out there. You guys tell me how you feel about the game that they had. Number one, Jalen Hurts. You said it. Jalen Hurts. To me, that was a coming out game. We talked about his accuracy in the first game of the season. And when we weren't talking about his completion percentage. We were talking about the accuracy of his throws. His completion percentage suffered for various reasons. That's the end of the first quarter. I'll finish my thought in the second quarter. All right, that's the end of the first quarter, Pat.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, so you are listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans. And on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage. We celebrate, we drown our sorrows, whatever's going on that week, we do it. But and I'm doing so this week with the Belvedere vodka. I'm taking a shot of that in celebration. Not going to overdo it, and Pat is doing the Jameson Irish whiskey. Nichelle is recovering from COVID, so she is sipping on a hot toddy. And you guys, let me know what you're doing out there, but always, please drink responsibly. So here we are to our number 3 ranked Eagles. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
Okay, so as I was saying, Jalen Hurts, his accuracy was even more off the charts in game 2. 83% completion rate, but his throws were, you have to look at the throws that he made. He made every throw. Dude, he was sharp. This is what we talked about him having to improve on from last year until this year. And in 2 games, I'm seeing a better Jalen Hurts. We're talking about him taking the step to the next level, and I'm seeing that step being taken. Now, like you guys mentioned it's going to be dependent upon consistency. We have to see this throughout the whole year. But if this was any indication of what's going to happen, we're in good shape. Now, he's number 1. Second person, Darius Slay. The job he did on Justin Jefferson, perhaps the best receiver in the league, was incredible. The snaps that he took directly and being the nearest defender to Justin Jefferson only had 1 catch on Slay. Slay, as a matter of fact, had more catches from his quarterback than Justin Jefferson had. Slay had 2 catches from Cousins, and Justin Jefferson only had 1 from Cousins while Darius Slay was guarding him. So what a game by these 2 people. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about? Yeah, I see Slay. Yo.
Really?
Where
did you get that from?
Son of my son. He made him his son. What are you talking about? Oh my, Slay went off. Listen. If there's anything I will be 100 about is Slay went off. Oh, I got some honey. I got some wild berry honey, locally owned, um,
No, he said some
minority
Jack
owned,
honey.
and
You
I got
got
some,
Jack honey.
and I
Put
got
some
some
Jack
bullet.
honey.
Sorry, no Jack, but Slay went off on
Yeah.
that boy. And he got him so far out his game. You could see his demeanor on the sidelines. Like he
Mhm.
wasn't at a certain point, he didn't even play up to his standard because Slay was so far in his head, and it was lovely to see.
It
They
was.
put it. They put a shot of him on the screen. I was like, he gonna cry when he get in the car.
Yup.
He gonna cry when he get in the car.
He's totally gonna cry. And quickly about Jalen, you know, I just don't understand. Even after his performance, and after he had just a shutout half, one of the best, the best performance of his career, he broke an NFL historic record, and people are still across the airwaves talking about he's mid, he's never going to be this, he's never going to be that. I think we need to move on and realize that we have a bunch of studs on this team right now
Mhm.
that are starting to gel, and we can be very dangerous. That's how I feel about it. I loved everything I saw when it came to Slay shutting things down, and
Yeah.
how Jalen executed the first half. We did leave a lot of meat on the bones in the second half, but a lot of that wasn't even up to him. It was those
Mhm.
dumb penalties, and Sirianni had to take the heat for one of the penalties because it was one of the plays that he didn't get called in properly. So he said that was the reason why he had the legal man downfield. But some of those things you got to clean up with the coaches,
Yeah.
and the
I,
players. So we can't put it all on Jalen when they
right.
dropping balls, or he makes a beautiful pass and it gets called back. What you want the man to do?
Mhm.
83%.
Yeah.
An
83%.
NFL historic record of having 300 plus yards, rushing yards, and the highest completion rating. Come on, stop playing with me.
Yeah. Young fella got some juice. All right. I'll be honest.
Juice.
All right. He has a lot to clean up in the aspect of when I showed you the clip, when I sent you the clip, he took off, but he had Devontae Smith down the field. That's going to come. I'm not worried about that. That's going to
Right,
come.
right.
He's going to see that later on in film study. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
understand that
Mm-hmm.
his ability to move out of the pocket opens things up because he threw a first down pass to Zach Pascal, right? But if he would have looked up quicker, he had Devontae Smith going to the corner wide open, who may have scored or got close to the 3-yard line, right? But that's apples and oranges right now because we
Mm-hmm.
did score on that drive. So I'm not going to criticize him for that because he took the safe pass and got the first down, and we was able to live to fight another down on the first drive. Now,
This.
what's that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, go ahead. He's about to go
I'm
crazy.
about to say this don't sound like positive Pat.
It is positive.
Like,
you know what?
This
You know
don't
what?
sound like
he
positive.
is
also-
This don't sound like
hypercritical
positive
This
Pat.
is also like the coach.
This sound like Coach Pat. This don't sound like positive Pat.
Inside of me because we talk about these opportunities, right? These opportunities present themselves.
We
When you
talk
go to
about
film
first
study,
down. We talk about
when you
first
go
down.
to film study and you actually see, the possibilities, and you literally saw the different possibilities on that big touchdown to Quez Watkins, which was schemed perfectly. You had two guys running wide open. Yes, he took the right throw. But let's be honest. In film study, this is what film study is for. If you threw the second throw to the Devontae Smith making that deep crosser, in film study, we would say you made the wrong throw because you had Quez Watkins wide open. So his improvement of his eyes through the progression of this offense, being so this is the first time since he came out of high school that he had the same offense in 2 years, back-to-back years.
That part.
All right.
And the
Mhm.
This
same
is the first
offensive
time.
coach.
Same offensive coach, same quarterback coach. So he's starting to get more familiar with the offense. When you're more familiar with the offense, you're not thinking about what route this guy is running, what the backside route is running. You know that from not even memory. That's just like you know the back of your hand. If you look at your first read and your second read, your third read should be hot. If the hot third read's not there, you got to take off, right? He has that ability. Now, when I get into the actual film of the game, which I sent to you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about we talked about Darius Slay, but we never talked about James Bradbury.
Yeah, he was
James
doing his thing.
Bradbury right now in this game had a passer completion percentage of 7.0. Meaning when the quarterback targeted James Bradbury, they incomplete.
His quarterback rating was very, very low. Yeah, he
So
did an
they're-
excellent job
They're
too.
the best. They're the best duo in the NFL right now at this particular point.
That's
I know it's only
right.
week 2. But you also got to give it up to our defensive front, and I want to talk about that a little bit later in maybe in the third quarter.
Yeah, we'll talk about the defensive front coming up, but I'm going to counter Pat because although those things did not occur, he did not have a bad game, and from what the progression that he has made from last year to this year is still incredible. All right, so if we're looking for him to be, nobody bats 1,000 in life. Let's get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. Nobody bats 1,000. Does he have room to improve? Yes, he does. But I'm pleased with the improvement that I've seen thus far in just these 2 games. I've seen improvement on his accuracy on his throws. I've seen improvement on him stepping up in the pocket and looking downfield. I've seen improvement on going through his progressions. I've seen improvement on that. So does he still have improvement? Yes, he does. But this last game, I don't have too many bad things to say. I can't do that. That's your role. That's your job. My job this week is just to be hyped about my team because I'm pointing out I'm the glass half full guy this week.
Yeah.
I'm the glass half full this guy this week.
You know what? The Philly fan. And I'll be honest with you. The Philly fan still has some gripe about Jalen Hurts because they don't understand. If
They don't understand football.
we don't have Jalen Hurts against Detroit, we lose. If we don't have Jalen Hurts in Minnesota, we probably don't win. Right? If you insert Jalen Hurts into that Washington Commanders football team against the Detroit Lions, right? The Commanders win that game.
And my thing is
That's
this.
a scary thought. Just to think about how good of a player one time that their quarterback was. I'm not going to speak his name right now, right? But in the actuality, the quarterback that we have can be that great if he continues to progress this season.
My thing is why are our fans and so many so hypercritical on Jalen's progression? He has the same type of stats as Josh Allen in his first 19 starts. Jalen does too. He was the first player in NFL history to throw for over 300 yards with 83% completion and 2 touchdowns and 50 yards rushing. He's breaking records, but yet people still want to be hypercritical on a young man that just got his grown man's body. That I will always say. He's just getting his grown man's body. And people say, oh, I didn't think he could have the arm. What are you talking about? What do you mean you don't think he could have the arm? He's not even fully developed yet.
That's a true
What the
statement.
hell are you talking about? How do you say that about a child, literally, that's coming into his grown man body that he's not going to be able to develop? It makes no sense to me. Numbers don't lie. People do. I don't dig the BS about, oh, he can't pass the eye test. He can't. No. He has just as many good stats as the Josh Allens of the world in his first 19 starts. I always bring up how Mahomes said, I learned how to read defense until my 4th year here anyway. So why is he such a target? Is it that we were so burnt from Carson Wentz that the next quarterback coming in was never going to catch a break? I don't know, but people need to really let it go and do a fair assessment because it's not really being fair because this boy got skills. He has talent, and these people don't understand that. And that's what drives me crazy. You have the Aikmans of the world co-signing that this is a special young man, but our own people in our own city can't. Stop playing with me.
Yes, let's not feed into the national narrative. Come on, guys. All right, but that's the end of the second quarter. Let's go.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, so you're listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show
throw a lot of dirt
out
balls,
there.
and I love him.
That's by Eagles fans, for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, our number 3 ranked football team, our undefeated football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we love to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I'm going to continue to do this, the Belvedere vodka. Pat is going to continue to do the Jameson Irish whiskey. And Nichelle is going to continue to sip on her hot toddy.
Wow.
And you guys let me know what you're doing out there, but please drink responsibly. So here's to our Philadelphia Eagles. Down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
All right, let me open this quarter up by just going to some comments because there's a lot of good conversation going out here. And we like to include you guys in the conversation. I'll go all the way back to I Am Smokey, and he was agreeing when Pat was going on his breakdown of plays. He said, "That's right, Coach." And Toby Cooper, I'm sorry. Good thing. He says, "Good thing is Jalen and this team and coaching has room to grow. We're very scary with potential." And I've been saying that. Kenny Ebo, childhood friend of mine. What's up, Kenny? What about those linebackers? They look promising. It's been a long time since we've seen that kind of movement at that position. And they were everywhere, dude. I mean, they played and how about Jonathan Gannon with a bounce back game? I mean, incredible what that defense did. And we're going to talk about that defensive line. I'm not going to put that because we got to answer if I put it up there. But Dion is taking a dig at me. He said, "Dante, your job this week is not to go on DAS and say Carson Wentz worries you." And that's very, very observant of you, Dion. I always pronounce Carson Wentz. I never say Carson Wentz. I always say Carlson. So that's very, very, very observant.
You having a
of
Pat
you.
moment?
Yeah. He had one of the best pro days coming in. People will say anything in reference to Jalen Hurts. Yender's in the house. He said, "My thing about Jalen is he got a consistent, if he stay within completion percentage of like 65, 69 and not be all over the place having 56 to 84, then 59, 62. I understand that, but it's
the average that matters.
Yeah, it's the average that matters. And his throws were still pretty accurate in that 56% game. That's what I was looking at. We were looking at the accuracy of his throws. Like, was he able to anticipate? Was he able to throw in the tight windows? And I remember the other Shell being on the show and saying that he needed confidence in being able to make those throws in the tight windows. And he's showing that now. He threw a couple of dimes on Monday night that were in tight windows. And that showed that he had the confidence to let the ball fly. And I could see that improvement. I see that improvement. Jason says McNabb had an arm. How many dirt balls did he throw? Yeah, that's true. And he's the GOAT on the Eagles, right? Dion is also drinking a Maker's Mark. Cheers. Dion is real. He's a real drinker, yo. He always doing that's big boy drink right there. I get it. Jason says this is a season we've got to sit back, relax, and enjoy something special brewing with this team. I'm in agreement with that. So I'm going to enjoy the ride. And
that's right.
Hyped over because every win in this league means something. It's not an easy thing to do, and we have 2 of them, and the last one looked very dominant. The first one looked great too, and we thought it was less than what it was because we were thinking the Detroit Lions were the old Detroit Lions, but as we can see after 2 weeks, these Detroit Lions are averaging 35.5 points.
They coming for somebody's neck.
Yeah, these are not your mom's Detroit Lions. So let's start there. All right, so talking about this game, we talked about Darius. They talked about Jalen Hurts. You send me to all 22. Let's talk about another person that had a big game and a unit of his that had a big game. So Jonathan Gannon bounced back and his defense, and that was the only reason why I doubted our Philadelphia Eagles in the Monday night game, because I thought this Minnesota Vikings offense was much better than Detroit, and I thought that the game that Jonathan Gannon called with the defense on that previous Sunday, if he would call the same game, we would have problems with the Vikings. Well, he did change it up. He sent more pressure. The defensive line, the whole defense, period, but the defensive line especially did get pressure on the quarterback. And pressure is not always measured by sacks. You have to look at what that defensive line causes the quarterback to do. And in that all 22 that you sent me, that the guy, I can't recall his name. I want to give him credit, but I can't recall his name. But he pointed out time after time how the defensive line got pressure on Kirk Cousins and rushed his clock, made him didn't give him the room to step up into the pocket, didn't give him the room to even step in the throws. Stepping up in the pocket, you need a couple steps to step in the pocket, but not being able to even take the step to step into the throw, that is very impressive if the defense line is putting that much pressure on. So after looking at it, and that's something that we don't look at. We don't pay precise attention to what the defensive line is doing while the game is going on because we're watching the sexy positions, the quarterback, what's he's doing, the running, the wide receivers, what are they doing? So we're watching that. But when you go back and watch this thing and you see what the defensive line did, it was impressive. And Jonathan Gannon did a great job in scheming for the Minnesota Vikings. I have to give hats off to him. We've been killing them the first week. This week we have to give him a pass.
He did his job.
Yes, he did his job.
He did his job. Fran Duffy was the name of the guy that broke down the tape.
Some other guys that I go. It's my go-to.
You're low, Pat.
You're low, Pat. Something's up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
Good.
So there are some go-to guys I go to on this breakdown of all 22, especially when you. So we have a thing, tape doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. like Michelle said, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Same thing with tape. A player lied, an offensive player lied, but when you go back to that tape and look at that tape, the tape tells you the truth. All right. So I was very upset. And
Hold up, we got a Vikings fan in the room. Vikings sighting, got to bring him on. Brian, so many miscues from the Vikings. Not impressed, but good win.
Respect.
Thanks.
That face, Dante. Oh my goodness, we gotta put that on the next intro.
I'm just.
We had all the celebs in the house.
But how many miscues were forced?
It was a lot.
I'm
25
sure.
pressures.
I'm sure Cousins' intentions when he dropped back was not to be rushed, was not to throw an interception. So those are not miscues. Those are forced errors. And that force came from our defensive line. I get it. When my team loses, I get it. I won that bet too, Brian. You need to get my money. But anyway, I get it. You know what I'm saying? When your team loses, you want to see that it was more your team's fault than the other team beating them. But this season will prove as it goes on. I'm not going to, I'm going to gloat because we won. And he talks a lot of crap. You got to know him. We had him on the show one time when he was at he's the Viking fan we had up at the table that time. Remember, Pat?
Oh,
yeah. That's the same guy. That's the same guy.
I never sang after that. My bad.
Yeah.
We did the doggone thing.
3 red zone picks. Smith dropped the TD. Boy got ran down by a punter. Yeah.
So let me
you're blaming us? I mean, like,
why are you mad at us?
Yeah, why are you mad
at
us? That's what we're supposed to do.
Right. Our
so your quarterback, let's be honest. Let's break this down again.
He's mid.
The coach of me is coming out. Your quarterback was 27 for what? 46. Of those 46 passes that he threw, he got pressured 25 times, right? So there are 19 incompletions. Of those 27 passes that he completed, he got pressured 25 times. He had a passer rating of 17. He had a QB rating of 17. He had a rating of 51, right? When we would go back and you look at these national media guys, they look at QBR. He had a 17.5 QBR. He sucked that game. And yes, it is Monday night, and we know Kirk Cousins sucks on Monday night. He's 2-0 forever. But at the end of the day, that pressure from the defense that we didn't expect to happen because we didn't have our confidence in Jonathan Gannon, who is creeping slowly up our confidence level. Because slowly but surely. Listen, they did a lot of TE stunts that we didn't see until you went back and watched the tape. I got pissed off at Hassan Ruddock being in coverage. That man should not be in coverage. especially on a passing down. He should always be in a rushing point on third down.
Yeah, so he
And
can do his little spin move because he's good at that.
it was even that. It was this is his ability to get around a tackle, his ability to get within a guard, and it was shown on the all. If you guys have access to all 22, and you can go back and just look at our defensive line, they were feeding, on that Vikings offensive line, and it was something special that we thought. We thought we should have like 5 or 6 sacks, but the defensive line was causing so much havoc that you
Yes.
forgot Delvin Cook was a running back.
Yeah. Let me just to clarify that
Next.
I'm not talking about Dunphy. I'm talking about, and his name
Which
is still
one?
not up here.
It's
but this-
Santi, SANTIT.
Yes.
Was that the first
Slash
video
E.
he said?
Yeah, the
Yes.
first video. The
Oh,
Football
okay.
Scout. That's the name of his YouTube channel, the Football
Okay.
Scout. He really broke down the all 22 and the job that the defensive line did. And he did a thorough job of breaking it down. And what makes it even more impressive, because I didn't know this, but that I knew this about the Detroit Lions because they said it on the telecast. But the Minnesota Vikings have a formidable offensive line. This is not Swiss cheese. So what our defensive line did was even more impressive. It wasn't like they had scrubs out there. They have a formidable defensive line, and a formidable offensive line. I'm sorry, and our defensive line wreaked havoc. So that makes it even more impressive to me. And we talked about it all show, and I have to hammer it home. This was an effort that wasn't even, I say, close to a perfect game. It wasn't even close to a perfect game, and we performed the way we performed. So meaning that there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of room to improve on this dominant performance that we saw. So that's, to me, that's very, very scary, and that should be very scary for the rest of the NFL. It's almost like, when they put it all together, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They left no points in the second half. That, we got to improve on that. You know what I mean? That's not going to stay that way, right? The offense got down in the red zone, and turnovers after turnovers, that's got to improve, right? We're not going to be giving up those type of drives all the time. I mean, block field goals, that's not going to happen all the time, right? So there's a lot of meat on the bone here, and I'm hoping to see it this upcoming week against our old friend Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, Dion. Carson Wentz. We face him on Sunday. But that's the end of the third quarter, right? I almost forgot. That's the end of the third quarter.
The end of the quarter.
Yo, we thank everybody out there that is in the chat room and participating in this podcast with us. We appreciate your support, and keep the conversation going. I'm about to go to you guys as soon as we begin the fourth quarter. All right, so you're watching Eagles Talk, the #1 Eagles coverage show on Facebook that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans, and we are still celebrating our big win over the Vikings on Monday. Why is it a big win, Don? It's only the second game of the season. Well, number one, it's a primetime game. That's always a big game. And like I discussed on the post game on Monday, I have been under the impression that when you play a primetime game, it's always a statement game because you're playing in front of the rest of the league. You're playing in front of the nation. You have the opportunity to make a statement to them that we are here and we are a team to be reckoned with. And in our last year, we didn't fare well in primetime games. I said it before each game, like, this is a big game. We can make a statement to the nation, and we laid an egg. And this was one time, and probably the first time in Sirianni's coaching career, that everything went right, and we did make a big statement. And that statement was so strong that it catapulted us up into the number 3 ranked football team. And actually the other two teams are AFC teams. So in essence, we're the top ranked NFC team right now. So we made a big statement, and I'm glad that they took that step in that
Dark Knight.
direction and showed up.
They said the infrastructure for Arizona, where they're having the bowl at, I ain't say the first land, cannot support a Buffalo.
Yeah, a Buffalo
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be crazy. Matter of fact, they would have to hire
They ain't
more
ready.
police.
They ain't about that life.
Nah, they ain't.
They ain't about that life.
If that was to take place, but with, I
Well,
don't
look,
want to get
it was
ahead
a
of myself.
big win because everybody picked the Vikings to win.
Yeah.
including Dante.
And
Yeah.
I want to talk about that because
Thank you.
I hate that. I hate that
I didn't, but
when
everybody else
it's
did.
one sided. It's when it's one sided. It gives teams bulletin board material, and that becomes scary for a former player.
All right, so we talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage. It's the fourth quarter. I'm still doing the Belvedere vodka, just doing a little bit. Let me know what you're doing out there. Drink responsibly.
At Dark Knight, you know you got to stay with that now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be drinking. Yeah, and I went to see the game over my neighbor's house, and and they same belief. We're all Eagles fans, and he was like, "You can't leave. You can't leave now. You can't. You got to stay in the same, and you got to come back. You got to come back the next week and sit in the same seat." So anyway, I'm doing the Belvedere. Pat's doing the Jameson Irish whiskey, and the Shell is sipping on a hot toddy, getting over COVID. We're so happy that she's doing well. And here
I'm
we
getting
are.
sleepy though.
All right. So here we are.
Sleepy and
This
I
is
got
the
the
last
chills.
quarter. Down the hatch to everybody. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter. I'm opening the fourth quarter with the comments from the room. Let me back up a little
Yeah,
bit.
we
so I can
talked
bring it
about
down.
Covey Kyle early in the show. We laughed about it.
And Brian, the
unfortunately.
Vikings fan, both teams stuck in the second half. You're right.
They did.
Nah, I agree with
That
that.
defense picked it up. I'll be honest with you. The Eagles defense picked it up and made sure that whatever you can do, whatever you think you can do, we're not going to allow you to do. And I got to shout out
Never.
to our defensive coordinator for that.
Hats off to Gannon. That's what Kyle O'Brien says. Dude did what we all wanted to see. True that. I'm happy that he did do that. We have a viewer from YouTube, Dizzle Drizzle. What's up? Our secretary put out the notice week 2. Nobody wants to smoke. I agree.
They don't
Our
want to see
secondaries,
us.
yo.
They're
banging.
I do need to talk about the Commanders receivers. So when we get done these comments, I do got to talk about these guys.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about it. Anybody here if Slay is injured or not? No, I didn't hear he was injured.
No, he's good. He's good to go.
Toby says, prediction, think Reddick will blitz this week. 2 sacks, bet on it. All right. Let me get my FanDuel app out. Dude, what's the prop bet? 2 sacks on Reddick? Okay, I got it. Jeremiah says his name doesn't matter anymore. He a commander. Yeah. Oh, with my mispronunciation. All right, I get you. Wayne says we should have 38 points, even Jake's field goal. Yeah, you're right. We left a lot. Susan, welcome. Because they destroyed our territory, I didn't hear no horn blowing. All right. Who was the Vikings head coach? They don't even know. Rock these hillbillies in Arizona. All right. Wait a minute. Kyle says, did you hear about Covey? Poor guy. Oh, yeah. We talked about that. We made jokes about that. He has to carry around the team's depth chart with him just to get into the parking lot now. He has to carry around the team's depth chart and his license, paper clip to the depth chart and say, here's
That's
my
a
license
shame.
and look at the depth chart. I'm right
That's
there.
a
Like,
shame.
okay, yeah, you do play for us. All right, you can come in.
They had him out there with the tailgaters taking pictures.
Yeah. All right. Jeremiah says they will say we only good because of strength of schedule, but they said that when we won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
This
they
isn't
did.
college. Okay,
this
there
isn't.
is no such thing as strength of schedule in the NFL. Like, why do
Any given
we
Sunday.
make right? What do you mean strength of schedule?
Well,
we had
it
9
is
to 7
affecting.
Giants beat Tom Brady for the Super Bowl. Where's that
True.
strength of schedule? Stop
Right.
playing with me.
Undefeated Tom Brady. Like 17-0, like 18-0 actually. Undefeated. You know what I mean? So yeah, come on.
This is the top. These are the best players in the world. No such thing as strength of schedule, y'all. Okay, you're 3 and whatever Detroit team, they coming for y'all. They already got a third of their wins that they had
Yeah,
last season. So what you think their record's going to be this year? Whatever
yeah.
happened
Don't
last
sleep
year,
on them.
you better let it go. This
Don't
year's a
sleep on them.
whole new ball of wax. And there's so much, like I said, there's so much parity in the league. You can
Any
make
given
all the
Sunday.
bold predictions you want, but the only true prediction is we really don't know who's going to end up at top.
Correct.
Yeah, and I echo the fact that there is mass parity in the NFL. That's what makes it
Man,
such an attractive sports league because
how
you
many
can go from
overtime games
last
we
to
have,
first.
Dante?
Yeah, in 1 year, you can go from last to first in 1 year. I think the NFL does the best job in leveling the playing field with the parity they have, and it's the American dream. I mean, you can go from last to first in 1 year, and we're seeing a lot of teams do it. We've seen a lot of teams do it, and it continues on. So I commend them for having such parity in the league. You know, we watch NBA, and the top teams are always the top teams. You know, and there's not really any upsets
Right.
in the NBA. You know, if the number one ranked team is usually going to beat the number 8 ranked team. There's not any upsets there, not many times. But in the NFL, you sleep any given Sunday, and you will be sitting on the sideline. So, Pat, what do you want to say?
So we're going to this week. We're going against our former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback that assisted us to get to the promised land. Um, he
Okay.
has a very good receiving core. All right, so this Vikings game is preparing us for the receiving core that we're going to get this
That's right,
week. All
sir.
right, Jahan Dotson is nothing to be joked about when it comes to a rookie wide receiver. Scary Terry is one of the top 5 receivers in the league. I don't care what anybody say. They can say Devontae Adams. They can say Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, whoever. Scary Terry should be in that top tier, because he's the guy that can route run and get open because of his speed. And Carson, he might not have the wheels, but he still can sling the ball. All right. So with that being said, Jonathan Gannon, the defensive plan you put forth against the Minnesota Vikings, the Washington Commanders, that's their name, right?
Yeah, that's
The
their
Washington
name. That's
Commanders
their name this week.
are missing their center. They are missing their center. All right. We need to be attacking through that A gap.
That's
The
right.
faster we can get to Carson, the better it will provide a blanket for our D backs to take the ball away. All right. When you pressure a quarterback and force them into situations where as though they have to just get rid of the ball, they end up making these mistakes. And the prime example happened last Monday with Kirk Cousins. When you put him in a bind, he made mistakes time after time after time. All right. We should have had 5 turnovers last week.
Hmm.
All right. The Slay has no hands. That's why he played defense. They said they say a cornerback ain't is nothing but a wide receiver that can't catch. That's what they say, and that's true. So, with that being said, you know, Gannon, keep up the pressure. Do not put Riddick in a uh, coverage situation. He serves the defense better when he's rushing the quarterback,
Yeah.
especially this week, because this guy is elusive. He's more elusive than any other quarterback we should play this year. We know that as a fact. Go, Willie.
Look at dude's profile pic.
I loved. I was
Slapping
seeing that too.
the hell out of Cowboy.
I
I
know
like
that's
that.
right. I know that's right. I
All
think
right.
our defense is going to be on and popping this week.
Yes, I was just
I
about
just
to make.
think even
Go ahead.
Gannon aside, I just think the emotion
Mhm.
of a division game, not just that it's our old QB, but it's a division game. They're coming off. They know they left meat on the bone
Mhm.
because Slay and the corners were eaten. So I think that D line one. I think they are jonesing to get to the quarterback.
I do too.
I don't
Yeah, I
think
do
this is a
too.
week that Carson really wants to see us, but oh well.
And this is my take, right? I have a newfound respect after watching the football scout here. I have a newfound respect for the defensive line and how we grade them. I know that the sexy stat is sacks and having a high number of sacks, but I now have a greater appreciation for quarterback hurries and hits because they do make a difference in how the quarterback reacts or plays. So it's not all the time we have to see 5 sacks by our defense. I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we took him down to the ground. But if we can get him off his square or make him uncomfortable, make him hurry his clock up, his internal clock, and force him into errors, that's just as effective to me as a sack. And I think furthermore that if this defensive line plays exactly the same way they played against the Minnesota Vikings, it's going to make it hot in the kitchen for Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz is also one that's prone to throw the ball to you if you hurry his clock up. So if you get in his face, no quarterback likes that. And I think Carson Wentz is susceptible to throw us a couple of picks if we just bring the same pressure that we brought Monday night. Now, that remains to be seen, but that's what I'm calling it.
But you know what? We got to be aggressive. We can't be passive because all the same traits we asked for Jalen Hurts to be, Carson Wentz can be that where you don't pressure him, right? He can sit back in the pocket and pick you apart if you don't put no pressure upon him.
I think he makes
still
bad
has
decisions.
He does make bad decisions, but he still has that arm talent.
He does, but sometimes he's doing too much.
But he don't want. He's not a check down person.
No,
you know what I'm saying. So,
no.
And I'm assuming that after they watch this film, that the offensive coordinator is going to realize, we got to get the ball out quick because they're going to be bringing the heat. And I don't think Carson is built to do that. I don't think his mentality, his thinking allows him to take what they give you. He wants to go big or go home. He definitely does.
And he doesn't have. And you're right,
you see this
Sue.
comment, Dante?
What's that?
This one.
Yeah, he's been posting that we Bradbury slaying everybody. That's right. We ain't worried about him either.
But
we
you know
ain't
what?
worried about him,
right.
Sue. That's right. Let him know, Sue.
Right.
I got all my peoples up in the chat today.
Oh yeah, that's your Sue's your people.
Listen, I've been trying to get people to come get involved and watch the show a little bit more. I've been trying.
Oh, that's great, James Nook. Where you been at, man? You've been going for a long time. Welcome back. At least 2 more INTs, and I'm declaring the return of Robin season. It's Robin season. Hey, look, man, we enjoy you guys. That's the end of the 4th quarter. We will be here Sunday, 12 o'clock. Our kickoff is 1, right? So 12 o'clock, come check us out on the pregame. Forget the national. You watch them all week. Come check it out with us. The only podcast that do a virtual tailgating to get you ready for the game. We get you hyped.
And
we get you hyped. And don't forget to hear me if you are in the Philadelphia region or even if you're not. Listen to me on Saturday about 5:40 as I talk football with Ed Long on WDS FM. You can also get that on the iHeart Radio app. Just download the iHeart Radio app, look up WDAS FM in Philadelphia, and check me out at 5:40 on Saturday. But for us, the gang will be back here on Sunday talking football with you guys and getting ready for our Philadelphia Eagles to take on the Washington Commanders. That's their name this week. All right, so we'll see you guys on Sunday, man, 12 o'clock. We're out.
Make sure you like and share the show on YouTube and Facebook.
We go live in 5, 4,